From the John DeVito Broadcast Center, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Paranormal Radio with Bob Trzeciak on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network and Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich on Thursday, February the 1st, the year 2018. And now, here he is, the king of Paranormal Radio, Mr. Bob Trzeciak.
Thank you, John. I always crack up with that. Right as you're saying, the king of Paranormal Radio, I'm drawing a little crown on my on my sheet here. That's starting to stick now, that king of Paranormal Radio. People are starting to call me king of Paranormal Radio.
I think we need to get Bob a crown next time.
Nice pretty one. One of those little paper ones from Burger King will be just fine.
No, we got to get you
that would be good. Thank you, John. It's always nice coming back to do the shows here. It seems like it's been a while because we did the December show so early in the month. It was like December 2nd would be the that one. So hopefully everyone had a wonderful holiday season and everything's going well with that, and you've had a good New Year's, and now we're coming into the close of our first month of the new year, January 29th. Kind of a cold, snowy January here. This is when we tape the shows. Of course, you'll be hearing this broadcast tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning on Jack FM at 10:30 in the morning, John, or 10 in the morning?
It'll be Thursday at 10:30.
Oh, Thursday they're going to do it. They switched us. We're going to go back to Thursday. We were on Thursdays for a while, then they put us on Tuesdays. Now we're going back to Thursdays. So Thursday at 10:30 in the morning, you're here on Jack FM, and also by that time, the show should be up and running on YouTube, thanks to the work of Mr. John Shikanda, our producer, and then also, too, on the Windy City Network at www.windycityhometown.com. So, we've got some material to cover tonight. Oh, I have to mention, too, Judy Huff, who was originally scheduled, if you've been listening to the show for the last couple of months, we've kind of had an ongoing thing going about that, the very famous Bachelor's Grove photograph of the ghostly image of the woman sitting on the tombstone. We've had a thing going on that pro and con about that. Is that the real photo? Is that the authentic thing, or is it not? And that kind of started in October, and it's been going on now for a little bit. And for December, we actually had Dale Kaczmarek on, who Dale has been here before, president of the Ghost Research Society of Illinois, and he was on and said some things in defense of the photo and that. And then tonight, why I brought this whole thing up, Judy Huff, who's the young lady that actually claims to have she claims to, and she actually did take that photo in August of 1991. She was going to come. She doesn't live locally anymore, so she was going to come in, and she was going to do the show tonight about that and say some things in her defense about that photo, too, challenging the authenticity of it, that it is the real deal. But unfortunately, she could not make it tonight. Something in her work schedule changed. She wasn't able to make it, but she is. I told her, yes, go ahead, schedule yourself for March or April or whenever you'd like. We'll put you in there and that, and we'll do a show on that. We'd like to give you equal time to come and say what you'd like to say about that. So just let you know, we didn't drop that subject off. We kind of continued it. I opened up a can of worms for myself with that, not realizing it, and I didn't even bring the whole subject up from the start. If you remember kind of what happened with that, that was the October 2nd show that I did, and we had Mr. Pete Crapie on, and Pete Crapie, brought the whole thing up with that, about the photo, about some things about it maybe not being authentic about that. And then for November, I had Pete come back on, and of course Pete can come on anytime, again, he wants to. And then in December, of course, Dale Kaczmarek was on to state his case about the authenticity of it, and then Judy Huff was going to come on tonight. So that way we give everybody some equal time on that. So okay, so we're kind of going with that, and everybody come to your own conclusions about it. If you believe that it is the real deal or you don't, whatever you want, you come to your own conclusions. It's not my job to sway anybody's belief one way or the other about that, like it is with anything else. We kind of just present it to you, and that's it. So okay, so enough said about that. We've got, not to be outdone by Judy Huff's not coming here today. I'm looking forward to having her on, though. But we've got some old favorites. Mr. Tim Conway. Oh no, it's Tony Sabelski. I forget. I always call Tony Tim Conway, because if you're old enough to remember the Carol Burnett show, Tim Conway used to just guest so much on the Carol Burnett show that finally, I think in the last 1 or 2 seasons of the 10-year run of the Carol Burnett show, they said, why don't we just make this guy a regular? He's on here all the time. And that's kind of the way it is with Tony. Tony just kind of shows up when he wants to. It really pretty much everybody. I tell them all, whenever you'd like to come back on, you just come on. So Tony, welcome back to Paranormal Radio. Always good having you here.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks. Always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, always nice to see you. Always nice to have you on here and that. Talk about you, what's going on with you. I'm sure you had a busy season and that with the tours and stuff.
Oh,
for October.
Very busy.
Yeah.
It was an extremely busy season. Busier than it's ever been.
Yeah, I saw some of your stuff. And then, of course, Julia Schwarzenegger's here.
Yep.
Schwarzenegger or Schwarzinger?
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzinger.
Yep.
I should know this by now. He's been here enough. And Julius is also with the Snap It. That's the Supernatural and Paranormal Investigative Team. I should know that by heart, too.
Yep,
I have to always look at the shirt, though, to make sure I get it right. And then Laura Hannigan is back with us.
Hi.
So we've got 3 of the Snap It member teams, and then a newcomer, Mr. Jason Sherman.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. Always nice to see some new faces here. You just joined the team.
I did.
You joined up with Snap It.
I did.
Yeah, okay.
I actually met Tony at a tour he was giving in Naperville.
Ah, okay.
And
The walking tour.
Yes,
Yeah.
the walking-
Okay.
Yes, and I became friends with Tony, and then became friends with Snap It right after that.
That's how it goes. It starts snowballing.
Yeah,
And after you become friends with everybody, you're going to become enemies with a lot of people, too. So
And we got stuck with them.
I got stuck with you.
No,
Oh, he's
that's
a
it.
good guy.
I'm
He's a
sure.
good
I'm
guy.
sure he is. I'm sure he's a nice addition to your team, or you wouldn't have invited him to come on there and be with you like that. It's funny, isn't it? How this business works. You just meet someone, like a chance meeting or that, and then it just kind of clicks, and next thing you know, you're doing things with them, and yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
had that happen to me in October too. Some folks that I had come on actually did Graveside Paranormal, Graveside Tours with Neil Gibbons and Steve Lineweber and Tommy Lineweber and them. Invited them to come on the radio. Saw one of their posters about their tours, and it kind of clicked, and then I wound up doing some tours with them in October and that, and now we got some other things going, and it just kind of snowballs like that. Some people you just kind of click, and it's there, and the chemistry's there, and everything works nicely, and it goes that way.
That's
Yeah.
how Tony got on the team.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I myself don't join any one in particular team for a variety of reasons. Just some of the drama that goes on, because doing the show like this, I like to get people from all over come on, and I stay contact with people and that. And we all know how this works. Some people aren't friends with this one. That one left our team and went to this, and that one did this and went to that, and
I don't
everything.
know.
And so I try to stay out of all that and just stay friendly with everybody, and it's been working very nicely for me. So I am an honorary member, though, of a lot of teams. They all send me their T-shirts and stuff, so... Yeah.
Oh, guy, he's
that's
saying
good.
something to us. We never sent him a T-shirt. Now we got to get him a crown and a T-shirt.
Well, that'll be
Got
coming.
our
Yeah.
work cut out for us.
The crown with that says Snap It Paranormal Investigative Team. You might have trouble with the crown, but the T-shirt would be. You're all wearing some T-shirts tonight with it. Well, not actually T-shirts. Everybody's wearing the sweatshirts because of the cold weather, except for. Oh my God, what do you got on here?
Sorry.
Julius, sorry, this guy is already taken by a smart and sexy Polish girl.
Yep.
That's what his shirt says. It has absolutely nothing to do with paranormal.
But I have my jacket hanging up over there. It's
And
the
that's
Snap
got
It
that's
jacket.
got the
That's
Snap
the
It
Snap
logo
It.
on it.
Yeah,
So okay with that.
I'm Spooky Boo.
Okay, so well, who wants to start first here? What do you guys got
the
going
smart
on?
and sexy Polish girl is a member of Snap It too, so I
She's-
guess
she's
that
a
does
member
Oh
of
yeah,
Snap It
Maggie.
too?
Yes,
So,
Maggie.
yeah,
Yes. yeah.
So that's Mrs. Swarzinger.
You can call it.
Well,
that if you
yeah.
like.
Okay.
We're not married though.
Well,
we're
all
not
right.
doing
We'll
that
let it
no
go
more.
with that. You and about
So-
90% of the other people today. That's how it works. Yeah.
This is
All
better
right.
this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Who wants to go first? You want to go first, Laura? No.
The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. I'll
Okay.
just ad lib
Everybody's
until.
looking at Tim Conway. Then Tim Conway has to go first.
Well,
Well, all right. Let,
What do you want?
let me start then. Let me just start asking the questions.
Yeah, you ask the
You've been now
questions.
with Snap It. You're active with them.
Right.
You're also doing tours with Ursula, right? With her,
Right, with
her,
Ursula.
haunted
Chicago Hauntings.
Chicago Hauntings. So you're doing tours with them, and you're doing tours on your
Well,
own too. So
the other tour company I was working for, the Haunted Hometowns, is actually for sale right now.
they're selling the tour company.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I've never
And-
heard of someone selling. How do you sell a tour? What is there to sell?
it's worth nothing.
Well,
Now wait a minute. Don't if they're not here to defend themselves, don't
Yeah.
start saying bad things about them. But how do you actually sell? I mean, it's not like a tangible thing. So what are you really selling?
well, the person who's selling it, I guess, believes it's a tangible thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's not like selling a restaurant or selling it is a business.
Right.
But when you're selling a business, usually there's a building or something. Unless she's like selling buses and that type of stuff. that she
No,
uses for
no
the tours.
buses involved.
Oh,
A
geez, that's unusual.
website,
Okay.
database, contact,
Hmm.
some equipment.
And that was Haunted Hometowns.
Haunted Hometowns.
And that's up for sale.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody's looking to
Well,
buy a
it's not
supernatural
public.
tour
It's not
company,
public.
It's not public
No.
that it's up for sale.
how much are they asking for it?
38,000.
Why 38? Why not 40 or 35? 38. Yeah. $38,000 for Haunted Hometowns tours. Okay, how come you don't want to buy it?
Well, we're negotiating right now.
Okay.
And I don't have $38,000.
You're trying to get it down to 2,000 or 3,000, right? Okay. I see how that works. Yeah. That's unusual. I never heard of anybody selling like a tour company like that. You know, you sell your customer list or whatever, you know, if you have like regular customers that come. But this type of business, you don't always have regulars. You get different people all the time.
It's a lot of repeat business.
So, yeah.
There is a lot.
I mean,
you do get a lot of
repeats.
repeats. Oh,
but
okay.
not too much. I mean,
so then you might be
it
selling
is
like a
all
list or
different
something
people,
like
but there
that.
are
Yeah, okay.
repeat
All right.
business.
Yeah. Now, this is the one that's out in Elgin, right? You
Elgin,
did the
Naperville, Aurora is where they did tours.
I was out in Elgin. I think I told you about this. Like in November, I went out there on a bus trip, and we actually were just going to the casino.
Yes, yeah.
To the what's the casino out there? The Grand Victoria.
Grand Victoria,
And so I had some time because I don't do much gambling, so I just did what I had to do and lost my money, and then took a walk down to Elgin, which there's not much there, and their Chamber of Commerce happened to be open. So I went and I asked them about the haunted tours for the haunted cemetery. She looked at me like she had no clue what I was talking about. And I said, "No, they do tours here. They do them, and that, you know."
They take
I'm
your
really
money.
surprised.
They do take your
Yeah, I'm
money.
really surprised that that's not featured.
There's actually another company that does them too out there.
They have
in
two of them
Elgin,
there, and the Chamber of Commerce has no clue that this is even going on.
Because the girl, the one who does this, Barb, she's only of events. It's events only. That's it. So I don't know. She's like real quiet about it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know.
Events. You mean the haunting?
It's considered an event.
An event.
Oh, okay.
So that's her title, events.
Okay.
So it's
All right.
weird.
Plus, I've also been busy with Julius and Hands on Paranormal.
Okay. So you're with Hands on Paranormal, you're with Supernatural, or Snap It rather, and then you're also with Haunted Hometown. Well, Haunted Hometowns is done. Well, Haunted Hometowns, what's left of it, you're with them, and then Chicago Hauntings, yeah.
Right.
Chicago Hauntings right now, that's your sure thing.
Yes.
That's the ace in the hole for
Right,
you.
at
That
this
one you're
point.
kind of busy with, yeah.
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 Not as much as I was earlier in the year.
Of course not. October,
From late May all the way through mid-November, I was doing like 5 nights a week.
That would be the season.
That's probably the hardest working tour guide that I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, I never seen a guy work as much as this man does. I mean,
I do maybe 5
He
or
works
6.
pretty hard, too.
I do 5 or 6 tours. This year I did a few more tours, but usually I do 5 or 6 a year. That's it. He's doing 5 or 6 of them a week, so he does a lot of tours. Yeah.
Day.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you had a couple of them. Yeah, you were doing.
I had there's a couple nights in Naperville. About 3 weekends in a row, I had 3 tours on the same night.
I've never done 3. I've done 2 in the same day. I've done
Yeah.
like an early morning one and like a later afternoon one. That would go until like 6 or 7 in the evening. That's about it for me.
These were back to back to back, 5, 8, and 10:30.
That's a lot of talking, but one good thing about that is you get to really perfect your routine.
You do.
You do. You do. You really do. And you know what jokes work, and you know what stuff works, and what doesn't, and you know what to add in, and something you try something a little different in that. And
Yes,
so it's kind of good. Yeah.
I'm absolutely perfect at the end of the
You
night
do-
when I fall
yeah.
over.
Oh
and
yeah,
fall on
yeah.
face
That's
first.
it. You got it very perfected and very memorized. Yeah, you got it down pat. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so good for you. Now you guys also have with the Snap It team. This is associated with the Snap It team. You usually have an event this weekend over at the church there.
We're having the seance.
You want to talk about that, Laura?
Yeah, let Laura talk about that
we
one.
have the seance, and if you want to come, it's $20 per person, and you can log on.
Move in a little
to-
closer to the mic.
You can log on
There you
to
go.
snapit-ghost.com and go under events and save a seat for yourself.
There you go. So if you've never actually attended a real seance and you'd like to see like a real deal seance, I can kind of recommend this because I went to one once before and that, and actually I will be hopefully coming this weekend, providing nothing else happens. I'm planning on coming.
Oh, you're coming Saturday, Bob?
Nice.
Okay.
There were some other people coming. That's still kind of, you know how this goes. When you mention this, everybody's hand goes up, and then when the time comes, you're doing it by yourself. You know how it works. So yeah, definitely would like to come. Yeah. But the transportation thing is going to depend on that because night driving for me is starting to get kind of crazy.
I hear you. Well, what's nice about the seance, though, is we used to remember the one room we had it in? We have it in the main chapel now.
Okay.
We have the church split down the middle with a dark curtain, and all the windows are all darked out, so there's much more room, and it's a hell of a lot better in the main chapel. There's been a lot more activity. Put it that way.
Yeah.
So by darkening it and changing it like this, you're actually getting better responses with the seance?
The spirits are more in that part of the church to begin with.
These spirits
Right.
are about to speak.
Yes,
Are
and
they
it's
friendly
very,
spirits?
very, very
Yes.
active. I mean, you must come.
Yeah.
You will enjoy yourself. I mean, trust me, you will enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I like doing those, and I kind of recommend it to anybody. If you've never done a seance before, if you'd like to, and you'll actually see what a seance is, as opposed to what you've been seeing, everything you've been seeing on the air, in the movies and TV and all that kind of stuff like that. You actually see how a real seance is run. So yeah, they're kind of nice there. Yeah.
And it's only $20.
$20. You can't complain. Yeah.
Can't beat that.
Now, you guys have been doing these seances over there for a long time.
Yeah, quite.
Have you had any people? I mean, any celebrity type people that have popped up? Of course, in a seance, you don't know who's going to pop up.
No,
on it.
you don't.
Well, you popped it. You came in.
Well, I came in, but I'm of this world. I just walked in through the door.
You're talking about a dead celebrity.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm not really a celebrity. Although, wait, I am too. I'm the king of Paranormal Radio.
He's talking about dead celebrities.
Oh, I'm sorry, not yet.
I was
anybody
confused
of any
on
kind
that
of note
too.
that came in because you really don't know.
I thought you meant people to come into this. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
No, Michaela just says like who she sees that's there, and then each person can bring somebody in.
Yeah, you don't know how it's going to go. Yeah,
right.
That's how it goes. Sometimes it's directed to someone in particular, or sometimes it's not. So that's one thing I would like to say about this. If you are coming with the intention of contacting Uncle Ebenezer or whoever, you may or may not.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it works that way, sometimes it don't. So it's just a little different, yeah. So you guys do the investigations, you do that, and also, too, you're doing investigations over at the church now,
yes,
too.
we
You're
are.
doing that.
Yeah, we have one coming up this Friday. That's through the Hands on Paranormal. With
that was
Julia.
my intention last year with the tour I was doing. I had an idea to do the investigation in church, and I talked to Julius about that. I says, how would you guys like to, demonstrate the equipment for us, that kind of thing? I'd bring your group to, just so they could see how this is, as opposed to what they're all seeing on TV with that and everything. But the only trouble with that was the time. We just couldn't work out.
Yeah, Mahalo just couldn't. She had
We
so
could-
much
yeah, the
going
time- we
on
couldn't
there. I
work the
know it's
time out,
terrible,
yeah. Yeah,
so.
because I run the tour like at 10 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
and I had some things to do with them, and then the earliest we can get in over by you was, I think, about 10 o'clock at night or 9:30 at night.
Yeah.
And I says, yikes,
Yeah.
what do I do with these people for 12 hours?
Right, right.
So that just didn't work. So we had to
That's
scrap that. We did
unfortunate,
something
though.
else.
Yeah, that's
But
unfortunate. That would have been a good idea.
yeah, that would be a nice thing. You guys are starting to do that now, though. I noticed that. You're doing that. You
Right.
just did one of those last week, was it, or the week before?
A couple weeks
ago, yeah.
Now, how'd that go?
Weeks
Did you
ago.
get a good response to that?
We had about 10 people there.
Okay,
that
that's
night.
all right.
Yeah, it was
It's
pretty good,
it's
yeah.
growing.
Yeah, it's been
definitely
growing.
First one or two you do, it doesn't, and then after
And
a
then
while
you
it kind
had
of catches on.
people
and-
that came back. They
Yeah.
were there the
Yeah.
first
Yes,
week,
yeah,
and they
we've
came
had
back because
some
they loved
repeat
it so
business.
Yeah, I
much.
like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it's
So you
very
meet some
active
contacts,
there.
maybe you get somebody that's interested in this
Yeah.
and, wasn't aware that there are teams and this kind of stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
they kind of strike an
Right.
interest in
Well,
it.
what's
Yeah.
nice is actual teams are starting to come in now, and that's kind of
Right.
it's kind of good for us because the teams are coming in and saying, "Wow, this place is haunted. Wow,
Ah.
we did have a good experience. We got good information from here, and spirits. It was good."
Okay, good. All right.
So,
So it's serving a purpose. Now, is that, Jason, is that how you managed to hook up with these characters? You came in on one of the tours and just...
No. So I actually found so I first met Tony.
Okay.
And
through the
then-
tour at Naperville, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I was researching groups in the area, and I came across Snap It, and I had reached out to Snap It's website, which turned out to be Laura. And once we met, and then was offered a spot on the team.
Good. Okay, so that worked out.
Just
Yeah.
naturally, just
Now, did you have any experience with this before you joined the team, or is this just like something totally brand new that you were just curious about, and you said, geez, I really want to get involved in this? And
So I'm 36 years old. I had my first experience.
well, that's nice. I'm 60.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
No, I'm
He's
kidding.
gonna bust
I'm
you
just
up.
messing. I'm just messing. with you.
Anyways,
They all know how I am, so don't take offense, Jason.
so I have my first. Well, my family lived in a haunted house in Lombard,
Okay.
and my sister, who is 24 now, so there's a little bit of a difference
Okay.
there. We both saw shadows in the hallways and in the closets in our bedrooms. We never told each other. We would only tell my mom at the time. And so years later, she put two and two together and was like, oh, there's something going on.
So basically, this was something that was kind of with you from
A
all
young
the time,
age.
always with you.
Yeah. And, I could have had experiences before then, but, it was blocked out. Like, just nothing really happened to me.
Cool. Okay.
And I've worked in like 4 or 5 workplaces that I've seen spirits in.
Okay.
So after like living in the haunted house, and then it just, I don't know. I just became open after that. And
Do you think they're just kind of there, or maybe they're following you, or are they following you around?
Good question. I always
Yeah.
wondered that.
Sometimes that happens. Yeah, you do get an attachment. Yeah, sometimes.
Because when the last investigation at the church, they've said my name on the equipment. Me and Tony have gone to Congress Hotel. They've said my name.
Congress Hotel. Yeah.
Me and Tony
Anything that happened there.
just went to the Drake Hotel
That's another one.
We were only there for like 20 minutes, and it said my name, so I don't know.
Right. They do a lot of films at the Drake. I heard the Drake was sold, though, or something. Isn't it sold or closed, or it's going to close or something?
Still open.
It's still there?
It's very open.
Yeah,
very open.
It's a very old hotel.
Yeah. Congress is older.
Congress was 1893. I think the Drake was 1909 or 1910.
Was it?
I think so.
Okay.
I didn't know it was that old.
I know. I know. Enrico Caruso sang there in 1910. I don't know if it was for like the grand opening or something when he was doing his Chicago tour. I know he sang there in 1910. So it either opened the year before or in 1910. But the Congress was for the Columbian Exposition.
On opening night at the Drake, a woman committed suicide.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They got their share of troubles. Yeah.
Oh,
that's the woman in red, isn't it?
The woman in red.
Yeah. Usually it's a woman in white. This one happens to be a woman in red. Well, most of the ghosts are women in white. The lady in white. This one is a woman in red. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And is the Drake? Oh, gee, do I have the story mixed up here? Is it the Drake or the? No, I think it is the Drake. The Drake is the one with the two boys.
No, it's Congress.
That is the
That's
Congress.
The Congress.
Okay.
That's the Congress.
Yeah. Got it mixed up. What are you filming?
11th floor.
Okay.
Is that
12th floor.
12th floor.
Oh, down 12th floor. Okay. Yeah. So we go from 12 to 14. They don't have. Does the Congress have a 13?
They do.
They do have the 13.
In the South Tower, they have a 13.
I'm surprised.
Floor. In the North Tower, they don't. It ends with the 12.
Yeah.
But in the South Tower, they have a 13th.
The South Tower, I'm guessing, was the older tower.
No, actually, the North Tower.
Really?
Yeah, that's the other one.
So they did it the other way around.
They did it.
Even though they had all the paranormal activity and all that, when they built the second one, they said, "No, we're going with the 13.
Yeah,
we're just
they
going to
went
do
with
it."
the 13th floor.
Okay. Or maybe the architect, whoever built it, just said, "The heck with this mumbo jumbo.
Right.
We're putting in the 13th floor."
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So basically, with you, it was just something that you had with you. I'm talking back to Jason here again. Something that was with you all the time and all that, and you just decided, let me study this a little further, get a little more serious about this, and see if there's something more to this than
Yeah. Well, actually, before Snap It, I was part of TNT Paranormal.
TNT Paranormal. I
Yeah.
guess they use a lot of explosives to blow things up.
You could say that, yeah.
They investigate after the explosion.
Yeah, if nothing turns up, they just start some explosions, and then they get a lot of things. They shake them up, huh?
Yes.
TNT. What does the TNT stand for?
Tracy and no.
It's been so long he doesn't remember.
Yeah, there you go.
Tracy and
Melissa.
Oh, Tanner and Tanner Paranormal.
Tanner. Oh, Tanner and Tanner.
Yeah.
Okay. Tanner and Tanner, TNT.
I always wondered what that stood for. I didn't even know.
No, I didn't either.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
TCT.
But isn't that
It's T-Tray Company. It has nothing to do with paranormal.
No.
Is that the team that had you study or whatever? To be
Yeah.
on the team or whatever?
So I was on the team for many months, and I was just studying. I wasn't able to go out and investigate. I would.
They had quizzes too. Right?
It was kind of a weird thing, actually.
Oh, so you actually you had to go to paranormal school.
Yeah.
Quote unquote, yes.
Okay.
So I would read slides and take notes, and then I would get
Now
sent.
Julius is laughing about this, but we've all went. Now, gentlemen, ladies, we've all been in this business how long, and we all know that no one is certified in this, and no one actually teaches a class in this, and no one is, so. They might be onto something with this.
But is Tanner and Tanner certified to have you take?
It's got to start somewhere. Somebody has to start it.
I don't think they are.
Yeah.
I don't know that for a fact, but I highly doubt it.
Go ahead, Jason.
I spent a lot of time on the sidelines, so by the time there was a point where I had to take this big quiz, and then by that time I was like, I'm not going to take the quiz.
I'm ready to go out in the field here. That's what I joined for.
Right. Like I knew all the equipment, knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time I met up with Snap It, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like I can do this.
So you did all your studying there and everything and got your so-called background on it, and then you went to Snap It. So it actually served a purpose. So it was kind of, all right. Did you feel it was worthwhile? Did you kind of feel like you were wasting your time? You were just doing things you already knew. They just wanted to see what you knew.
Do you want my honest answer?
Well,
of course.
If you feel like giving it, without being too unkind to anybody, I don't like to do that on the air.
I felt like I spent a lot of time twiddling my thumbs.
Okay.
So by the time I got to investigate, it was like a brand new world.
Yeah, see, you had a little more experience in it. Maybe for somebody that was a novice that never did this before or something, it would have been great. But for you, maybe that's something that they might want to consider is maybe evaluating people each on an individual basis. If you get somebody in that just says, yeah, I've never done this before, no experience with this, never had any equipment in my hands or anything, Okay, them do the tests. Let them watch the film strips. Let them watch the training films and all that kind of stuff and take the quizzes. But somebody else that's maybe a little more experienced with it, they could just come into it. Yes, sir. Got your hand up.
At HOP, Hands On Paranormal, you can go there for 1 hour and learn everything he did in 1 hour and investigate. You don't have to do all this crazy stuff.
Really, 1 hour?
Yes, because we teach you how to use the basic equipment. And it works effectively.
So in 1 hour you can be a paranormal expert.
And you not an expert, but you can learn how to investigate using basic equipment. You got your phone for recording if you have a phone. You have dowsing rods.
Okay.
Okay. And you use your phone pretty much for. And if you have a meter, what's it called? K2 meter.
K2 meters, EMF meters.
And that's pretty much all you really need.
Okay.
You know, all the other fancy stuff, the lights and...
they're always coming up with more and more new things. As time goes on, more and more is coming.
There's no degree in paranormal. I'm sorry. It's BS, if anybody even tells you that. I truly believe that it's untrue.
No, there really isn't. I haven't been able to find anybody that certifies it or teaches it or anything, because really it's, something like this, where you just demonstrate equipment, that kind of stuff. Just really...
But what's really funny, though, is like if you watch some of these shows... They would say a paranormal engineer for like radio devices is like, there's no such thing.
Yeah, how do you get that title?
There is no such thing. How can you even give yourself or someone a title like that? It's just so funny, this field that we're in. I mean, it's a good field.
Well, don't they call people doctors?
Yes.
I mean, academic is an academic courtesy. They're not really a doctor. They have no degree or whatever, but they just feel that they're very learned or whatever, and they call it like Dr. Franklin, Dr. Benjamin Franklin, or somebody never had a degree or anything in medicine or anything, just a doctor of philosophy or whatever,
You're right.
So aren't there sort of just honorary titles like that really don't have any certificates or diplomas that go with them?
But it's just false advertising, because there's people out there that are just...
I see what you're saying. If you're using it as a point to kind of enhance your business, and say, oh, we are certified in this, and I am a engineer in this, I'm skilled in this,
Right.
Okay, but
we would never do that to people. That's why we have a simple little thing that we do over there, and everybody likes it. Who doesn't?
That's
who
sort
has
of
never
that's sort
done
of
it
like
before.
that's sort of like me being king of Paranormal Radio.
But you are though, Bob.
I have no connection to any royal
That's an
family
appointed
anywhere in the
title.
world. I have no royal blood runs through these
You're
veins.
king.
So, no royal blood runs through these veins. So I'm no king.
Well, Elvis was the king too, and I don't believe
It's just
he
an
had any,
academic.
royal
It's just
blood
an
running
academic courtesy. Yeah.
I will say, through my experience, there's a difference between taking it too serious and being driven.
Okay.
Like, I don't take it that serious. Like, I'm driven about it. I'm passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't take it, like, to a point where it's
That's good. You're not to the point where it's fanaticism. And I
No.
like that. You know what you're doing? You're kind of separating the reality from the fantasy, and that's good.
Yeah.
Some people get a little carried away with this, and they get a little overzealous with it, and it causes a lot of problems.
Right.
Because what actually happens is they quit their jobs, they do everything, and this is all they do. And they run around with cameras, and they think they're going to get these great photos, and they become rich and famous and all this. And then what happens is they end up becoming very, very disappointed and very disheartened with it and disenchanted by the whole process, and then end up leaving or saying, there's nothing to it, it's not real, and just kind of leaving the whole business.
Right.
So, if you go into it kind of controlled, which seems like you got your head together about that, that's a good answer. You're kind of doing it the right way. So, yeah. Because we all know it's very difficult to make a living doing this, Yeah.
If you had to rely on it, we'd all be living outside.
Yeah.
That's why we all have jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Real
Yeah.
jobs,
Yeah.
It's a
Everybody
hobby.
does. Everybody does something else. Yeah.
I think that's an actual disease. It's called Zacchitis.
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 Zacchitis. So now, let's see. You've had a busy tour season. Now your tour, though, you're actually with Ursula's company, and that is Haunted Home. No, not Haunted Home.
Chicago Haunts.
Chicago Haunts.
Yeah.
So now you're with them, and now the new trend seems to be, I'm seeing this a lot popping up all over the place, is Devil in the White City tours.
Yes.
H.H. Holmes. All of a sudden, like the last year, H.H. Holmes is a really
I've
hot
been learning
property.
that tour for the company.
So you're doing an H.H. Holmes tour too?
I've been on 3 of them so far.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Now-
we go to all the stops.
Well,
Oh,
Jeff
so you're
Budget
giving
had
them
that
then. You're already doing H.H.
Yeah.
Holmes tours.
TV
Okay.
program.
Yeah.
The TV program that was on TV. I don't know if you saw it with the H.H. Holmes story. How he
Oh,
was
the-
trying to prove that it was.
Yeah,
his-
yeah. They
his
exhumed the
great-great-
body and all that. Yeah. I kind of knew it was going to go that way. I kind of did.
Yeah.
I kind of said, no, that is indeed him in there, and that's it. That story just seemed to surface, like, I'd say in the last year, about him not being in that grave
Right.
and all that, and them exhuming that and all that. But I kind of knew Now, I says, that is him in there. You know, all of a sudden the story came up that he switched and somehow he conned his way out of being executed, and it's not even him buried in there and all that. But they've kind of proven...
Well, they were trying to prove that he was also Jack the Ripper.
That's another one, too, that's been floating around for a while, too. And there's been pretty concrete, no pun intended, with this burial, pretty concrete evidence. Because we all know he was encased in cement when he was buried. But there's pretty concrete evidence that he was in Chicago at the same time some of the Ripper murders were committed, and there's no possible way he could have been in two different places. The Ripper murderers do remain a mystery, though. They really have never really... And there were only 5. There were really only 5 murders. If you know, familiar with the Ripper murders, the Whitechapel murders, there were really only 5 murders. But I guess just for that time, it was such a big deal to have happened, you know. But, there's no possible way Holmes could have done those, because there's pretty concrete evidence that he was in Chicago and other places at the time some of those murders were committed. So, yeah.
You know, I often get asked on tours if I've been in the basement of that post office.
Oh, here we go. I got something to say about the basement.
I say, no, I haven't, but I know people who have, and... You're one of the people I know that's been there.
In actuality, the basement of the post office is really not that big of a deal, because in actuality, the Holmes murder castle wasn't even there.
Right. It was over to the corner a little bit.
Now think about this practically. Just think about this for a second. This building was built 1892, maybe 1891, for his World's Fair Hotel for 1883 and 83 World's Fair. He built this thing to make money on it. Now, in 1937, we know it was razed and it was gone. And then, of course, that stayed vacant for a long time. And then they finally put the Englewood Post Office there. Do you think that they would put a modern building on this, 70, 80, 90-year-old foundation and all this? Why would they do that? Of course not. They're going to build all new. So it would make no sense for them to dig out the old basement and then build on top of it. And in actuality, if you look, even Wallace, the street changed.
Right.
Where Wallace was, it's not even where it is now.
It was anymore,
so when they say 63rd and Wallace is the location of the castle, but Wallace actually changed. It's not even the right location.
Right.
Because like behind it, you got those train tracks and the bridge back there and that, and it was actually in front of that and on the empty lot to the side of the post office where it sits now. Even the post office themselves, up until I'd say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, no hauntings, nothing going on and all that. All of a sudden, they got wind of this being the site of the old murder castle, H.H. Holmes. Boom, the post office became haunted. And the basement. So it just amazes me how you can actually bring ghosts into a building when you have to.
Hey, come on in, come on in.
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, but there's been some things
now.
about that, too. But not these H.H. Holmes tours, though. I says, all of a sudden, like I said, all of a sudden, this is really big stuff. I did Holmes, actually, about 3 or 4 years ago. I did a couple of presentations at a few of the libraries. It actually wasn't just specifically H.H. Holmes. I did the World's Columbian Exposition and H.H. Holmes and that. And I have to really admit, he's a tough cookie to research.
He really
tough. Is, because he lied so much and used so many aliases, and it's really difficult to know what's fact and what's fiction about him. And that's why it's easy to develop stories about him.
In his confession, he claimed to murder like 27 people, and some of
them
those people are still alive.
Yes. and then now the story goes that the count could go up to 200, which who knows? We really don't know.
Right.
If every person that turned up as a missing person in 1893 turns out to be a victim of Holmes, man was very active with the knife and with the gas chambers. So that's all I can say about that. Now, for the H.H. Holmes tour, though, well, I don't want to give you your secrets away, but you go Congress Hotel, of course, we know that.
It starts at the Congress.
Yeah, Congress, and then, of course, there are some empty lots and things, but there can't be a whole lot.
Well, it encompasses the whole experience of, like, if somebody were to come to Chicago for the 1893 World's Fair.
So you take them to Jackson Park?
So we go to Jackson Park, we go to the fairgrounds,
sort of
we get out, we walk around back there, we talk about... the Museum of Science and Industry being the only building that's left. We show them the whole Clarence Darrow Pond and all that. Then we go to the gates of the stockyard also, because people would have come in town for the World's Fair. A popular destination would have been to go to the stockyards.
Those gates, the water tower that survived the fire, and the gates at Rose Hill Cemetery are built out of the same stone.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Built out of the same stone.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I taught something to you.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow. You learn something new every day.
Oh, you're a smart guy, Bob.
Well,
Record that so you can tell people.
I will. I'll tell people.
Yeah, I'm doing a Rose Hill tour.
Oh, are you?
Coming up in May.
They let you in there?
In Rose Hill?
Yeah.
Sure they do.
In the daytime.
Why would they not?
Daytime.
Well, when I wanted to go in there, he says no.
Daytime, he's going to do.
Daytime.
Yeah, daytime.
They wouldn't let you in there?
No.
No?
What do you mean they won't let you in?
Because I wanted to do tours in there, and I talked to some Sergio guy. He says no. That was like a year ago.
Bob didn't talk to Sergio.
Now here's the way. Here's what happened with Rose Hill. Rose Hill used to actually give you the tours themselves. when I first got the idea to do a tour for Rose Hill, I said, this would be fascinating. I'd love to do a tour on this. But then I thought about it, and I says, who's going to spend 3 hours in a cemetery or 4 hours in a cemetery only, and that's it?
Right.
So,
Right.
of course, we did the Rose Hill, and then, of course, lunch at the Wildfire right across the street from it, and that. And actually, Tony, you even recommended Wildfire to me. You
Yes,
said, oh, yeah, it's great.
great place,
That's,
yeah.
that's one of the only places I did not go there to eat for a tour. Usually I check out all the places first myself before I use it on a tour just to see if it's good.
Right,
you know,
right,
if,
right.
if I think people would like it or not. And I got so many good recommendations. Even the man at Rose Hill said I had my wedding there. So it's really fantastic.
And it's supposed to be haunted, too.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
the-
another one
is
where
it?
they haunted that. I think some people walked over from Rose Hill and wanted something to eat. So, yeah. Yeah. But any to hoot, Rose Hill used to give you a tour.
Well,
They did. I ran the tour one year with the Summit Park District, and
What do you pull in there with a bus?
yeah,
No way.
yeah, with the not a big super bus.
Oh, no,
50,
I
60,
understand.
15
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
small
yeah.
one. You know, we came in and they were very nice to us. They would not take us in the mausoleum, but then I talked him into it. And I said, well, if he doesn't take us, I'll go in there myself. I'll bring him in.
Right.
But then he finally did, and they did that, and it was very nice and everything like that. And so then, the next year, I ran it with the South Central Stickney Park District. And of course, you know how that goes. You plan these things 6 months ahead of time. Called them over the summer and that, and said, "Yeah, we'd be bringing a tour out in September." Oh, yes, we still run the tours. It's not a problem, Mr. Trzeciak. Yes, we still do them and everything. And then 3 days before I did the tour, I called him. I said, "Yeah, I'm bringing a group out on Saturday." "Oh, it's not a problem. We'll have somebody here for you." We got there, and he says, "Nope, sorry, you're out of luck. We don't do the tours anymore." That was it.
I remember you said this
Wow.
before. to
I
me.
says, "Well, gee, thanks a lot. What happened in 3 days?" I says, 3 days ago. I go, "Oh, no, the man that does the tours is not here. We don't do them anymore. That's it." And then I guess one of the gentlemen, who was there, I wish I knew his name because he was very nice. He kind of saw our plight there and came out, gave us a little talk, gave the group a talk about it, printed up the maps for us and everything. And then I kind of took him around, you know, to Lulu Fellows and to
Right,
the
right.
mausoleum and this and that and
Right.
the other, and you know some of the more notable ones. The fire monument for Mr. John DeVita here, because every year he does a broadcast over there at the Fireman's Monument there and that, and
cool.
sits up there
Oh,
and
that's
does that.
right,
So
yeah.
yeah. Now John gets into Rose Hill anytime he wants.
Hmm.
He goes in there, yeah. He goes in there.
Maybe I
4
called
o'clock
that
in
a
the
bad
4
day.
o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning. He goes in there.
Julius, what you do?
Yeah.
Huh?
What did
Yeah.
you do?
I think that was the thing, though. You told him I'm bringing a tour through. If you just say I'd like to bring a group through, okay.
No, I
fine.
just said I want to do tours through your cemetery. Who do I talk to over there? And so I forget the guy's name. I think it was the Spanish guy. He says, "No, this is you're desecrating the graves like this." I'm like, "What?" It was
Taking a
pretty-
break? Okay, we're going to stop
Yeah.
for just a moment, folks, and take a little break here, and we will come back with more paranormal stuff. Stick with us, folks. We'll be right back.
It's like 2 seconds.
You're listening to Paranormal Radio with Bob Trzeciak from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich and the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network on Thursday, February the 1st, year 2018. And this is Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich, Illinois. And now back to Bob Trzeciak and Paranormal Radio.
Thank you, John. Okay, we are back on after the break there. Just in case you're just joining us, to let you know who we have on tonight, we have Mr. Tony Savelski, no stranger to Paranormal Radio, been here many times before. Julius Swarzinger, no stranger to Paranormal Radio. Laura Hannigan, no stranger, she's been here. We're all with the Snap It Paranormal Investigative Team. And then Mr. Jason Sherman, a newcomer to Paranormal Radio and to the Snap It team. He kind of just joined up with the team there, and we've been listening to some of his stories and that, and kind of an interesting young guy there talking about that. We got his age, 36 years old. Got the age of his sister, 24. You got my age, 60. How old are you? How old are you, Julius?
I'm gonna be 50. I'm gonna be 54 in April.
Laura, I don't. It's not polite to ask a lady, but if you want to give it,
I'm a young 58.
58. Okay, so you're getting close to me. And Tony, how old?
53.
53. I'm the oldest.
Young.
Yeah, I'm the oldest at 60. And then John DeVita, of course, got me beat at, I don't know, what are you, John, about 102 or what? I don't know.
125.
125. There
Doing
you go.
good for 125, my
Should've-
friend.
Yeah, you look pretty good for
You're
125.
putting me
I
to
tell
shame.
you.
I
Yeah.
feel like 150.
Yeah, I know there's days I do too.
There are
Trust me
days
on
like
that.
Get that
yeah.
knee fixed. You'll be young again.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
So anyway, we've just been kind of touching on, Rose Hill Cemetery and some of the things going on with that, and different tours and stuff like that. We're talking about that. Sometimes with the tours and that, Rose Hill, I always thought was like not one of them not being a Catholic cemetery, because I know Catholic cemeteries get very touchy about the paranormal and that type of stuff like that.
Right.
They can be a little touchy about that. And you know, there again, I'm not coming down on them about that. That's just how they feel. Other areas of the country, the Catholic archdiocese and Catholic cemeteries, they're very open to it. But just the Chicago archdiocese, they kind of closed the door on that one. But Rose Hill, they're usually pretty good about that. They let you go in there and that, and it's no
we
secret.
went there, and they told us not to take pictures in the mausoleum.
In Rose Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
They said, we don't want to read about this in the newspaper. And I said, but it's already
What
been
were you?
in there.
I was going to say, what were you expecting to read? Something that's already not been printed?
I said their obituary was in the paper already, wasn't it?
No, see, so she had the experience too. What about Graceland?
Yeah, I
over
was
on
gonna ask
Irving and
about
Irving and-
Graceland.
Same thing too. I've never had trouble with them.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with them. Yeah, but see, I don't announce myself. I just go in there. I don't.
Oh, we
Be
did
the bummer
too.
idea.
We
Well,
didn't-
I figure you have 20 people with you if they
Yeah.
pay you, and
Yeah.
then they say get the hell out of here. You want to
Because that's what they're known for. That they're known for their cemetery. Now, see, also too, if you're really promoting this as paranormal, which I do and I don't, and I'm not trying to deceive anybody, because I do both. Historical / paranormal.
Right.
Because we do have a lot of architectural, cemetery architecture in there and stuff that's fascinating to look at. I mean, some of those, like the Greek revival temples and all the
yeah.
Tiffany windows in the mausoleum and all that stuff. So those are all wonderful things that you can't even see in museums, that you can see in a
Right.
cemetery. Likewise with Graceland as well, So those things I do like to point out historically, and then you do touch on some of the paranormal as well, But usually they're very open about that.
Plus,
I'm
you got a lot of
surprised.
famous people buried.
Oh
in those.
yeah,
Yeah.
many celebrities in the old Rose Hill and that, and Graceland as well.
Graceland,
Yeah, a
yeah.
lot of them there. Yeah, a lot of people that are historically connected to the city of Chicago.
Right.
And, and
They're
nationally
beautiful.
too. Yeah,
They're
they
all
are.
beautiful.
They're very.
Yeah.
The architecture is extremely beautiful in those cemeteries. It really is. I really like them a lot. Yeah. So maybe that way, if you kind of just are promoting it as a supernatural type thing, and of course, if they see you come in with the T-shirts and everything, they say paranormal investigative team, and you got the equipment and all that, you're kind of a sure giveaway
Lights
there.
going
Yeah.
on.
Tech giveaway.
Yeah. I go in with a little minibus with 15 senior citizens from one of the park districts.
Right.
Yeah, fine, go ahead.
Yeah.
These people are on their way in the cemetery anyway, so they don't really.
Yeah, I know they frown on when people start cutting across the grass and doing all kinds of stuff like
Yeah,
that.
that's
I
that's
can
true. If you're being,
understand
if you're
that
being
100%.
disrespectful to the stones and stuff like that, yeah.
I mean, because when we had the night tours in Elgin, we ran into that with some of the people.
Right.
We would tell them, hey, everybody stay together. It's
And
dark,
they start
they get
wandering
bored,
off.
and all of a sudden you got 3 or 4 people wandering off from your crowd. And
Yeah.
it's like you tell
With the
them,
flashlight,
and,
looking at all the headstones.
I feel bad about that with Bachelor's Grove Cemetery because I was out there in the last fall, in October, one of the many times I was out there. And one time I was out there with a couple of the other gentlemen from Graveside Tours, and I just got tired. And there's a tree stump there. And if I have to sit, I like to sit on that stump. I don't like to sit on the stones if I can avoid it. And someone was already on the tree stump sitting. And I said, well, all right, I got to sit
Should've
down.
pushed
So-
them off.
No. So I went and I sat on, of course, the famous headstone where the ghost of the woman appears,
Right,
the one
right.
that's been kind of the controversy of the show. And I all of a sudden the picture shows up all over the place of me sitting on the tombstone. And I says, no, I had to put on there. I says, folks, I really was not trying to be disrespectful. I wasn't trying to be cute about this or anything. I know everybody likes to go and sit on that stone. I said, I was just really just kind of tired. I had to sit for a little bit and rest my leg. And I explained, I do like to sit on the tree stump, but someone was already sitting there, so I just sat there for a little while, So I was like to make that clear. I wasn't trying to be funny about it. I don't like to do that,
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't want anybody sitting on my gravestone or, whatever.
I wouldn't care. I'm
Yeah,
dead.
what does it matter,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let's see, some people are. Everybody feels differently about it.
Right.
And try to respect everybody's wishes, Yeah.
I already told my wife I want to be in Wrigley Field, so it doesn't matter where they sit.
Well, have your ashes. You're going to be cremated?
Yeah.
Yeah, put the ashes over there. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And step all over me, I don't care.
Now, there again, too, now, if that's something you really want, I wouldn't go to them and say, what do we have to do to request to have someone's ashes thrown here? They're going to say, you can't do it.
Just
Right.
have her
Just
do
go
it.
and do
Just
it.
go and
do it.
No,
Yeah,
bring a
just
little
go and do
plastic
it.
bag, and there's Jason.
Right.
Right. That's it.
Jason
Stroll
out,
out
in
of
right
That's it,
field
yeah.
there.
Put me in the grass.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, on the ivy on the walls or
Then your wife
something,
gets
yeah.
arrested for littering.
Yeah.
You never know what down the road,
Right.
Darn that ashtray in the car. Shoot. I knew I'd get in trouble with that somewhere along the line.
Where's the cigarette butts at?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but that can be a little funny. I can understand where people would be a little touchy about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes by not asking too many questions or trying to be too much of the nice guy, with the permission and all that kind of stuff, you kind of bite your own hand. So, that way like
Well,
that. So-
that one I had to. I mean, I just didn't. I didn't want to go there bringing people there, having them pay for something, and then get kicked out because right there it ruins the reputation of your business.
Oh, sure,
you know,
yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
All things happen. We all know this. Running tours, there's circumstances that you can't control. You know,
Right.
something happens with the weather.
Right.
Something changes where they change their day of operation, where you're scheduled to be there a day, and then all of a sudden they decide to close for whatever reason. You know, so things do happen
Right.
like that. But you know, that's why I always have some kind of a backup thing. Something I learned from doing these tours is have some backup. So in case something goes wrong with this, we can do that. You know, so yeah, that's how you got to work these things. So. Yeah, but like I said, all of a sudden Holmes is like a hot property here. You know, all of a sudden.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
All of those
That's all you
tours
hear.
were packed too.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
over 50 people
Yeah.
on the
Mhm.
bus.
Yeah, they're it's just a fascinating thing. All of a sudden he caught the public's eye, and of course he's been around for well over 100 years here. But all of a sudden it's like he got rediscovered. When that movie comes out, if that movie ever gets made, the one they've been talking about, the Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm sure everything will go Holmes crazy for a couple of years
even
there with
crazier,
that.
yeah.
So just the way it works. Yeah. Oddly enough, there aren't too many photos of him. Just that one you see all the time.
Yeah, the usual one.
And then you see the mugshot too. One he's got
Right.
the bowler
Mhm.
hat, he's got the
Mhm.
derby hat on. The other one he's got it off. You can
Yes.
see him,
Yeah.
and that, with the big mustache.
Yeah, I don't know
Right.
too much about him, so
Yeah.
Go on one of Tony's tours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
come on
there you
to it.
go.
You'll learn
I'm
all
not
about
a
it.
lot.
history guy.
Well, there again, history mystery. How
You
can
can read the book.
How can you say you're
Devil
not
in White
history?
City.
How can,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Devil in White
City.
City is fantastic. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that because it really goes into a lot of the fair and stuff and all
Yes.
that and everything
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Jeff Mudgett has a book too.
Yeah.
Jeff Mudgett too. Now
What's
he
his
didn't.
name?
He didn't even know until a few years ago that he was related to Holmes.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
he didn't. He found that out somehow. I don't know how he did that.
I don't know if
I
that's
really
a
don't.
good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't really.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's well
Like great grandfather.
something. Yeah,
okay.
something down the line. Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know if you know, Bob, but one thing I learned from doing these tours is there's a possibility that post office is going to be demolished
Oh, really?
with the neighborhood renovation
Okay.
there in Inglewood.
Okay.
And if that does happen, Jeff wants that area to be considered like a crime scene. He's trying to work with the authorities to do like a dig there. That's what's been coming up on these tours.
Does he know that these crimes happened like 125 years ago?
Well, yeah, he does, but he's claiming there's no statute of limitation on murder.
I got a little bit of trouble with that one.
Yeah.
So you want to have they're going to raise the building, they're going to tear it down, but then you want to have it as a crime scene.
he wants to have that
And what does he think?
like a dig there to see if there's bones underneath the ground.
Oh, that's what he wants.
That's
Okay,
what he
I
wants
get
to
it.
do.
Well, now
Because it never was done, I guess. The
him
first
of all
time around.
people should know his Holmes history. Let me tell you, if Holmes is sufficient, as everybody says he was, with the acid vats and with this and with that and with lime and everything like
Nothing's
that,
left.
there's not going to be a whole lot left under
Yeah.
there,
Right.
you know.
Mhm.
And then number one, like I said, if you really want a crime scene, have it where the building actually stood on the vacant lot.
Right, on the
You
vacant
know,
lot.
where the post office building is now. There really wasn't. There may have been a bit of it.
A
on
little
that,
bit of it may have,
but the
covered it.
majority of the castle was on the other
Right.
thing over there.
On
So
in the corner.
I don't know. You know,
Mhm.
Who's going to pay for that?
I don't know.
You know that's expensive.
That would be-
I don't know. I don't know how
Very
far he's
expensive.
going to get with something like that.
I don't know either,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
that's
Yeah,
the word
yeah.
now. That
Interesting.
He is trying to
It's
do
interesting,
that.
and no disrespect to Mr. Mudgett. I'm not making fun of him or anything like that, but I don't know. I mean, it's like 1893. What is it?
1893.
How many years? 125 years is that? Yeah, 125
Yeah,
years.
125 years.
Because in 1918, when they put up the statue over there now, that was 25 years. So this is 2018. So it's 125 years ago
Right.
that the expo was there, the fair was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we could talk about the Snap It Expo now.
Okay. Snap It Expo. Here we go.
April 14th at the church in
At the-
Cicero
At the church in Cicero.
at 5130
And-
West 25th Street.
And what does the expo consist of?
We are going to have speakers come in like Dale Kazmarek and Mary Marshall.
I don't know Mary Marshall. Who's she?
Mary Marshall is in the paranormal. She's the paranormal MD, she's called. She's going to do a lecture on Bigfoot.
What does the MD stand for? Paranormal MD. What does it stand for, Tony?
I don't know if that means like a doctor. Isn't it a doctor and MD?
She
What is
might
it,
be a
Julius?
money
But
doctor.
Maybe.
I think it has something to do with her maiden name, Mary, whatever her maiden name was.
Oh, Paranormal MD.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with anything else.
Mm,
I don't
that's
think
Any
it has
idea,
anything to do
Jason?
Yeah.
Any idea?
No.
Come on,
He
pay
doesn't
attention
even
to the
know
show.
I was like, Mary who?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who she is. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
we'll make sure we get Mary out here on the radio.
Yeah.
come on the radio
Christina Rake.
And then she could tell us what.
Bishop Christina Rake
I,
is
I've
coming.
I know
sent
who
her.
that
I
is.
sent
Did you
her a
talk to her?
message. No, I never talked to her. I sent her a message, but she never responded back. Yeah, okay.
Well, you'll
You know.
see her at the expo.
she'll be
You
at the
can talk
expo.
to
She's
her
coming.
and maybe get her on the radio.
And,
Yeah, very nice woman.
Shadow Hunters, and then of course John Stevens and Dave Scott from IPRA.
John Stevens, Dave Scott were
Yep.
both on this show.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Mhm.
And then we'll have vendors. We have raffles. We have a real cool raffle prize that we're going to be raffling
Oh,
off.
what's the cool prize?
It's a robot camera. So it's like remote controlled. It looks like a little card. It has a
Oh.
camera on it.
How much are the tickets for this raffle?
We don't know. We haven't decided yet. We're having a meeting next week.
Still
Actually,
working
it's
on
this
some
Saturday.
stuff.
To be
This area,
discussed.
So all this is
Yeah.
going to be at the church over there. We're going to do all
Right.
this.
We're gonna-
Okay.
There's going to be free hot dogs and chips and pop. First, only one time around per person.
Okay.
We got the
That's being
healing
donated.
bowls. We'll have
Yeah.
readings if people want readings.
Now, is all this included with the admission, or is all this
There's
like
no
extras?
admission. It's a don't. If
Oh,
you
I
wanna
see.
Donate
So you come in
somewhere,
and you pay for this, you pay for
No,
that.
you don't pay for nothing.
Oh,
Well,
If
yeah,
you
you
wanna
have to pay
donation.
for the readings
Or
and
the
healings.
readings, and
Okay.
the readings, and then whatever. But like for the food and what else is
Everything is free. Is like when you come in and you want to see the speakers and the vendors, that's all free.
right?
Okay.
If you want a reading, I don't know what they're going to charge.
Okay,
We haven't
yeah, so-
That has
discussed all
nothing to
this
do with
yet.
us.
But
so.
that has not.
So I need extras or that you'd pay for that. So no,
Right.
that's fair
And there'll be
enough,
other
yeah.
vendors tables selling
That's
stuff.
fair, 'cause
and
usually
things
they
like
charge
that.
like an admission for these things, and
Correct.
everything else you want to do, you pay an extra
Yeah.
admission.
And ours
it's
is
a
free.
new coming thing, and hopefully it grows with us, and we'll
Yeah.
just see how it works out for us. You know.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So-
Yeah, I know they do a few of these conferences around here and there and that kind of thing like that.
It-
And
It's
so
just
yeah,
it's such a small place. It seems like we're going to have a lot of people already.
Yeah.
So I mean, it seems pretty
Really a
big.
packed
already.
house.
Yeah.
It will be.
So it's April 14th, and then the doors open at 11 a.m.
April 14th,
Speakers
11
start
a.m.
on
And what time is
speakers
it till?
start
Like
at 12.
6?
Till 6,
6. Okay.
and the speakers start at noon.
Isn't the king of paranormal radio going to be there?
Yes, he
Yes,
is.
he is.
That's
Yes, I'm
right.
going to be there,
yes,
and we're
yeah.
talking about doing a broadcast there. We do want to
Right.
do the broadcast, but now this is all pending with Mr. John DeVita here because he's going to go and have some surgery done on his knee, and he of course does all the equipment and the radio. I come on the radio and I talk. I do the easy thing, but he does all the setup and all the sound and all the equipment and all
Julius
that.
will help him.
So yeah, so we're hoping that we can do that. That would be nice to do, and also too, it's a way to get the word out around the station too, and that,
Right.
in
Oh,
the
yeah.
city and that.
It'll be nice.
put
You
some
got,
flyers and
your
things out
room all
there.
picked out for you. You get that nice front office for your setup. It's
Yeah.
going to be really nice for you.
John, we have a room over there,
Nice
Yeah,
room.
nice room,
Have you ever
nice
been
and
over there,
big.
John?
so we can call people
At
in
the
for
church
interviews
in
and all
Cicero?
that and everything. yeah.
Exactly.
At the church in Cicero.
Well, all these people
It's a
that you
nice
mentioned,
place.
we'll get them all for an interview over there. We'll do like mini interviews with them all,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
that'd be
and then
awesome.
we'll see if we
That'd
can get
be
them. If impress them enough, then maybe they'll want to come on the show and do the show.
There you go.
There you go.
I don't know. I
So
keep coming
if-
back. I like
Yeah,
it.
me too.
When you
Yeah.
come to the seance Saturday, we'll show you where your room's going to
Oh,
be.
okay,
There you go.
Yeah.
I have a room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was it like the former embalming room or something? No, that was
No.
actually in the
That's
cellar.
downstairs.
No,
Oh,
That's
that's
downstairs.
downstairs. You get
I've
to
never
stand
been
and
down
wait
there.
We're
for
going to
it.
keep you upstairs.
I never
You've
never
never
been
been
down
down
there.
there?
We'll have to
It's
take you
a
down there.
laundry room right now,
Yeah,
but it's still
it's
in
the
the
laundry
room.
room.
Oh, okay. We get the laundry room, John.
No, the laundry
No,
room
no.
was the old embalming.
Oh,
room.
the laundry room
embalming
was the
room.
old embalming room. I
You
get it,
got
okay.
the office.
You guys got
Ah,
the nice.
we
got
got-
the nice
we
room.
got the
You get a
office
nice
on the
room.
14th.
Hey, Bob, guess where my spot is at the church?
What do you got?
Out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Are you directing traffic or what?
No, that's where the hot dogs are going to
He's
be.
going to be
Oh.
giving
Gonna be
out the
cooking
free
hot
hot
dogs.
dogs.
Hopefully today will be nice enough that you can.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with that, though, is if you do hot dogs net out there, you're going to get a lot of people from the neighborhood. They're going to come over for a free
No,
lunch.
they're going to,
If they come to the expo, we're giving them a ticket.
and they can come get their hot dog. That's
And
how it
then
works.
Julius will collect the ticket and they get their hot dog. 'Cause
I
they're only going to
get it.
get one hot dog and
hot
one
dog,
chip
a
and one
chip,
pop.
and a pop.
You got this. You got this down to a science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that sounds good.
So it's something that,
It's a way of spreading the word about the paranormal, spread the word about the church that's there. The church does a
Right.
lot of good work there too. All
Yep.
all kidding and joking aside, they do a
Right.
lot of other things there besides just paranormal. And
So
all.
we will-
not that paranormal I don't see as being something worthwhile. I do, but they also do a lot of the Alcoholics Anonymous meetings are
Right.
there. They hold spiritual. It actually is a spiritualist church.
Yes, it is.
So they do hold services there on Sunday. They hold services for some other denomination too, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a Spanish.
Spanish.
service.
Yeah, she has different.
Another denomination
come
yeah.
in, yeah.
They rent the
They rent
church.
the
They
church
come there,
out.
yeah. So so they do.
And she has the schooling for Laura and myself and.
Oh, that's right too. She does the classes there too.
We're trying to get
now
Jason
the
to go
she
in.
that we're talking about is Doctor. Is she a doctor now?
Reverend.
Mihaela.
Reverend.
She
Reverend.
is.
Reverend.
She
Well,
is.
she's a spiritualist minister
Mm-hmm.
now, but the state of Illinois doesn't recognize that as an actual religion. which
She has
is
something else that she's
kinda weird.
doctor in. What is it? I don't even know the whole science of what she does, but she's very good at what she does.
So
Yes.
we are going to have donation jars out, and that's going to help to support the church.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
There you go. So this will all be April 14th.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to get a Titanic speaker out there or something too, because earlier I mentioned, I saw April 14th. That's the anniversary of the Titanic sinking and Abraham Lincoln's assassination. Even though the Titanic sank on the 15th, but it hit the berg on the 14th. So.
Well, you're the Titanic expert.
Well, yeah, but when we doing the radio, I can't do everything.
that's
so.
true.
Well, you have Titanic.
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, we do. I could find a
From
way to
11
squeeze
to
it
6,
all
you got
in.
plenty of
Split it
time.
right in
You got a
half.
lot of time.
Yeah, we can squeeze it all in there. Yeah. Yeah, we can squeeze it. Ida Hippach is actually in the Titanic survivor, is buried in Rose Hill.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
Titanic survivor,
Yeah.
yeah. And then over in Elgin there, the last living survivor lived in Elgin.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
she lived in
Didn't
Elgin.
know
Oh,
that.
wow.
She was a 2-year-old. No, not the last living survivor. I take it back. Last living survivor was Milavina Dean. She passed away in England. But I forget the lady's name. They were actually Swedish immigrants, and they actually were already here in the United States. And what
Uh-huh.
the family did is they went back to visit relatives, and they were traveling back on Titanic, and then they hit. And she was like 2 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she survived. And she lived in Elgin all her life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
See?
Lucky her.
Find
Learn
these things
something
out.
new again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the Titanic at all. I just,
He knows that it's saying.
Every time you think, it's
it
like
was
it's-
a big boat.
like everything else. Every time you think you've heard everything and there's nothing else, somebody comes up with some new evidence or something.
Yeah.
There's always something
Right.
new coming around with
Yeah.
these things and all that. So that's how it goes with this stuff. Yeah. So, I suppose I should ask you guys now. In addition to doing the tours and doing the conference and doing the what are you calling this?
Expo.
The expo and all this other stuff. You actually are an investigative team.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So now, any recent investigations? Anything good came up?
No.
And
Not
outstanding?
recent, no.
Well,
It's kinda
We've been doing
died
the
down.
hands-on
Well-
Geez, I asked the wrong
Yeah.
question. What's the matter? The spirits are just resting
Conover,
there, or
Conover,
what?
When we were Conover,
Sometimes
we
it's
did
dry.
stuff.
We
I
We
mean,
were at Conover Square in Oregon, Illinois.
there was
Okay.
some good stuff
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on over
Where
there.
exactly is Oregon, Illinois?
It's 2 hours west on North Avenue, right over the Rock River. You're
Right
there.
over the Rock River.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's an old little town. It's got the Conover Square is an old piano factory turned into a mall that pretty much sells a lot of antique stuff.
Okay.
It's a really nice place. It's a really nice place to go for investigation.
Okay. So you investigate the mall, the antiques mall?
Yes,
Oh.
it's the
Yes.
first.
Now, see, this would be a little tricky, too, because you might be picking up stuff that's in the building. You might be picking up stuff that's on the other stuff.
Right.
And
Because
the
we all
Right.
know some
Exactly,
antiques
you're
kind of...
absolutely
I know,
right.
I know people that won't collect the antiques just for that reason. They say,
Right.
no, I don't want
Because
to
they
bring
watch
this...
that Haunted Collector
Some
on TV.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. What's this? There is a haunted collector?
On that
Yeah.
TV
Yeah, the
show.
John
TV show.
Zaffis.
Zaffis.
John Zaffis.
Everybody talked at once. What is this?
John Zaffis.
I don't know who he is, and he does
He
this
is
show?
he is the nephew of Lorraine Warren.
I don't know who she is.
Ed and Lorraine
From The
Warren,
Conjuring.
The Conjuring.
You don't know who the Warrens are?
No.
Oh, my
wow.
God.
No.
Lorraine Warren and her husband
Ed.
Ed Warren helped the family when they had the demonic entity in their
Oh,
house
okay.
in
Now
The
I know them.
Conjuring.
Okay,
Yeah,
them
yeah.
I know. Yeah, and they do a show.
No,
No, their nephew.
Their
Their
nephew.
Oh, their
John
nephew does a show.
Zaffis.
Okay, and his show is all about
It's
people.
called Haunted Collector. What he'll do is people will call him up, and his family will come out and go to their homes and figure out what the heck's wrong with their house, why it's haunted, and usually it's something that's attached, like a bracelet, a piece of furniture.
Sometimes it's something very personal, like a
You're
piece
right.
of jewelry.
Exactly.
A lot of times too, it's furniture. It's particularly furniture with mirrors,
Yep.
old dressers and things with mirrors. That's why I know people that won't buy mirrors. They won't buy antique mirrors. They have nothing to do with them. Any reflective.
It all depends
surfaces.
how
Yeah.
voodoo you
I
are
collect,
with yourself.
I
too.
collected antiques all my life. I never had any problem. But I collect like old I collect other things as well. And of course, since moving, and I don't have this, no longer have the big home with the space and all that, I've kind of curtailed the collecting a lot. But big thing for me is old recordings, phonographs, and music boxes. Well, not so much music boxes, but and stereographs, particularly the Columbian Exposition,
Right.
the old stereo views of the Exposition and
Right.
stuff like that. I like collecting those. Lincoln stereographs are extremely rare and expensive to find, very rare. And he was like our most photographed president. He liked to have his picture taken. You do, yeah, he did. He loved to have his picture taken. He loved to, yeah. That was like therapy for him. Whenever he could escape the office, he would leave and he'd run down to the Matthew Brady studio in Washington and sit and have his portrait done. He
Oh,
liked,
wow.
he liked to have his picture taken,
Shoot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mary Todd, too. She liked to have her picture taken, too, but she was just showing off her clothes. Because she was a fashionista. and she liked showing off her dresses and her clothing that she wore and everything. But she never wanted them. There was only one photograph. They have like a really early photograph of them taken kind of like the same year, and they put it together, but they were never actually photographed together.
Huh.
She never
That's
would allow it.
interesting.
Yeah, she never wanted them photographed together. Mary Todd Lincoln, she never wanted them together, photographed. Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. You do see photographs of Lincoln with his sons and things like that,
Yeah.
but never with Mary Todd in there. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Not his wife. Yeah. She was a strange woman. A lot of
Yes,
psychic,
yeah,
lot of
she had a
psychic
lot
things,
of
lot of problems, a
yeah.
lot of things going on with her spiritualism and that. She was very much involved in that and everything. And
Well, he
all
was
that.
too.
Oh, very much so.
Yes,
Very
yeah.
psychic, connected president. Extremely much so. Yeah, very psychically connected. Yeah. A lot of haunts, a lot of Lincoln haunts.
Yes.
Just go down to Springfield. Everything in Springfield's haunted by Abraham
Yeah.
We were
Lincoln's
supposed
ghost.
to remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never got there.
No.
Yeah.
No, I've been to Springfield, but not with them.
Well,
Yeah,
we
it's
were
got its
supposed to
haunts,
go,
yeah.
it got
Mhm.
screwed up. Kind
Well,
of,
they even
so-
say that he haunts the Historical Society in Chicago because his deathbed is there.
His deathbed is in there, but then George Washington's false teeth are in there too, and he don't haunt. And they have a suit. They have a suit of his clothes. They actually have a dark, a black suit of George Washington's clothes that they exhibited for many years until finally they decided that from exhibiting them they were getting too the fabric was just falling apart. So they took it and stored it away and have it conserved, and they had a replica made and sewn. They actually had it hand sewn like it would have been sewn in the 18th century, and they display that now. They also have another interesting thing in the Chicago Historical Society, in a wood frame, and they have some archaic old documents that go along with it to authenticize this. But they actually have a snake skin, which is supposed to be the skin of the serpent that tempted Adam and Eve.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Jury's out
Wow.
on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But
Lincoln's
we are,
deathbed is in there. The table where they signed the terms of the surrender of the Civil War at Appomattox Courthouse.
Oh,
the
that's
marble
in there?
the marble top table, that's in there. So
Yeah.
a lot of
wow.
Lincoln things. Yeah.
Mhm.
We are going to a paranormal museum in Michigan in
I didn't know
April.
there was a paranormal
and
museum.
we are going to spend the night there and investigate.
Oh. What do they have in a paranormal museum?
We don't know. We're
Do they
going
have
to
some
find
ghosts, some captive
Yeah.
ghosts
Yes,
that
they
they
have
can,
ghosts.
conjure up
Ghosts on
and
display.
yeah.
And
You
then
press
we're
a button and they talk to you. Woo.
and then a few months after that, we're going to the Monroe House.
Okay.
So that's what we
Monroe
got
House
lined
is
up.
known for some activity. Yeah.
And that's what we got lined up so far.
Okay. All right. So doing things here and there and that. You're all over the place, keeping yourselves busy.
Yeah. We're actually going back to Conover Square again on February 10th.
So you were happy with that. You got some good
Yes.
results
Yes.
from Conover
Yes.
Square. Uh-huh.
It is, huh?
That would be
Only
kind
some of our
you know,
members don't wanna
kind of
go.
Yeah.
I'm kind of intrigued by that being an antique shop because you may go and you may get some good results, and the next time you may go back and you may not get those results because what you were getting results from might be gone.
But
might,
you know
Right.
might have been bought and sold in
What's
somebody
nice
else's
about
house.
this place is it's got a main level, it's got a museum, it's got an attic with bats flying around, it's got a full basement, so it's huge. I mean,
Oh, so it's go ahead, Jason. You're gonna say something? I thought I thought you were gonna
No, it's
trying to
just-
get my
it's just-
attention.
it's
Just kind of jump in anytime you want.
And
you know,
it's heated.
anytime
in-
you want. You got something to say. Just
no,
jump
go ahead,
in.
Jason. Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, I've been to Conover once, and I had an experience in the attic. I saw a black shadow in the attic.
Okay.
So there is activity. I
Okay.
can verify that.
Your thing is shadow people. You see a lot of shadow figures.
Yeah,
You seem to. Just what you've been saying tonight. You seem to. Shadow figures seem to be something that kind of sticks with you.
we went to Congress. I'm sorry, straight up.
Uh-oh. Somebody's calling.
We went to Congress. What was that? A month ago, something like that. No, a couple weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
We were in one of the linen rooms in Congress,
Okay.
and I had a grid up on the wall. Shadow kept going across the wall for about an hour. So, yeah, I mean, Conover, there's
Did
shadows.
you got this on film?
Yes. Yeah, we do. Somebody, I think I have a little bit of it. Another investigator has more.
Now, you were there and this thing was going for an hour, and you didn't take the time to film it, even for
No,
a
I
half an
have
hour?
it on my phone. It's just
Oh,
it's
I
hard to
see.
see. Like, it's really hard to see.
Well, yeah,
'cause
if it's a shadow figure, sure. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But this is the idea, and especially if it's something that's going. Usually these things are like a few seconds.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
got something that's really staying there for an hour,
Right.
man, I would have
Tony-
got something on it. Yeah. Yeah.
Tony can verify. It was going
Well,
back.
nobody
and forth.
listens to Tony.
No, nobody listens.
he's a tour guide.
Hey,
I wasn't
your
in the
name's
room
not
for the whole
Tony.
night.
What's your name?
He's running
Edgar.
he's running a shadow tour. That's the next tour he's running is a shadow tour.
I'm
so.
Sergio. I'm the guy that told Julius he can't come in. Rose.
I'm sorry I can't go there.
Oh, you change your identity too, don't you?
I do, yeah.
I have it. Oh, yeah. You know, it's just so interesting how some of these people now are changing identities. You know, it's like some people you talk to one time they're this, and then the next time I'm like, well, wait a minute, who are you? Are you the same? Yeah, I'm the same person. I just changed my name. I'm like, oh, you know, somebody after you or something, or what? You know, what's that about?
H.H.
You know?
Holmes did do that too.
Oh
so,
well, him, yeah, but he did it. He was
yeah.
scamming everybody. That's why he
True.
did it. He was, you know, selling everybody's bodies and collecting insurance money and everything. That's why he did it. Yeah.
Everybody has to have a hobby.
Yeah.
True.
So any,
Yeah, that's true.
so now, how many years have you? Well, you've been doing this all your life. You've had these experiences, like with your home you lived in and everything like that. But now, as a serious investigator, how long have you been in the actual business here, Jace?
5 years.
Oh, 5. So you're around for a while. Yeah. Okay.
There was a long time of sitting on the sidelines.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. And then sometimes too, for a year or two, you kind of get away from it, and you go back to it.
Yeah.
You know, you do that. Yeah. It
Yeah,
happens.
I had to switch jobs, so it was hard to like.
That's the thing too. When you're out in the real world, you know, and that, you know, there's reality has to come in here somewhere too, and you know,
Right.
Making a living and paying the rent and all that stuff has to kind of take the front seat, and then you do the paranormal as a spare time thing and that, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So okay, cool. But the thing is, you kept up with it.
Yeah.
You never let it leave you in that. So that's good. That's great.
I've always been interested and passionate about it. It's just lately, in the last year or so, I've really been putting the pedal to the metal with it.
The only thing, like you say, and you seem like you got a pretty good head about that, because you brought that up yourself. You said that yourself, is kind of keep the reality on it. Don't get overwhelmed with it, and let it. So much of this, and then so much of other stuff too. You don't want to just get absorbed in this and nothing else.
Right.
And that kind of thing, like, because sometimes it can be a little dangerous. Well, too much
Yeah.
of anything, too much of anything in excess can be. So just got to take a break.
True.
Got to take a break from it and go on and do something else. For a minute, and then go back to it.
I agree.
Yeah. You need to have a reality check every once in a while. I think we all do. Sometimes you kind of get, obsessed with something, and if that's all you eat, sleep, and drink and think about, then you got a problem. That's no worse than anybody going to a casino and sticking money in a slot machine all day long and then losing and going back the next day to do it, So
Yeah.
That's true.
everybody has their vices, but yeah.
True that.
So any oh geez, it is 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, we got that, so we can run a couple of minutes longer here. Any recent investigations? I think I asked you that before. Anything that you came up with? Let me ask you guys now. How long has Snap-It been around?
Since 2008.
Okay, so you're like at 9 years now, coming into your 9th year. Anything that you've gotten that you say, wow, this is really something. We found this. We have the proof of this. We got this on tape. We've got this. And man, no one else has done anything like this. No one came up with something like this. Anything like that you guys gotten in 9 years?
We've gotten pictures, but people have gotten pictures too.
Okay.
I mean,
But
We
nothing
got,
really.
we got some good EVPs.
Yeah, good EVP.
You were kind of jumping around there. Did you have something to say?
yeah, he was
No,
saying
that it.
him.
Him, yeah.
Oh, you.
That's what we got.
You
That's
said
what we got.
Well,
We got stuck with him.
Nine years of being a
9
team.
years, that's
9
what we
years
got.
of being a team. If that's all you got to show for it.
Hey, I can take an insult. Don't worry about it.
Well, Laura,
I didn't come here to get insulted. Well, go where you usually go.
Right?
Laura, you got that one picture at the Sacred Heart.
Yes.
That was a
I
pretty
don't
good
think
picture.
I have
Okay.
it. I might have it on here.
No,
So that's got some. That's what I'm trying to say. Like in the 9 years' time, just to give people kind of like something to
Actually, Bob,
measure the
everybody,
spy.
everybody on the
people,
team.
see, the thing is, I think people, when they come into paranormal, when they're new into it, I think they get so enthused about this, and oh man, I'm going to come up with something that no one else has, and I'm going to get this great photo of this ghost flying through a wall and all this. And then when they realize it doesn't happen, and it's not doing this, and then they kind of start getting a little disillusioned. But if you're like a diehard paranormal buff, and that you realize that sometimes it's yours, sometimes it never happens, that may never happen.
Actually, everybody on the team has like their own little specialty.
Sure.
Okay, I mean, like myself and Maggie, we get EVPs all the time. Maggie gets good pictures. Lauren's good with pictures.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about Jason's qualities yet because he's new on the team and
Sure.
he wanders off by himself. I only see some of his footage. Tony too. He's pretty good with just picking up stuff with meters and all that stuff.
Okay.
So, what is
Cindy gets good EVPs. Kim's real good with EVPs.
right.
Okay.
And then what's the boy's name again?
James.
Yeah, he gets. I mean, they have some nice footage actually.
I think
They
I
do.
met him.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
James has been here.
I think I've met him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
he
and
was-
him did the show once.
I think he was here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean they have a nice collection of this stuff. I mean, really
do,
good
yeah.
stuff. I mean,
Okay.
you should
I
see it
can't find
sometime,
that
too.
picture,
It's
but
really
here's a
nice.
picture I caught at what was that place we were at? Fox Hollow. where the guy killed all those gay men.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that the farm?
Yeah, and you'll see in the doorway. Do you see that? What do you see in the doorway?
Okay.
Beside the arrow.
I'm not really even seeing. Now, the way I'm looking at this, I'm not really. Oh, there is a doorway here. I see like a railing in front, and then the doorway, and it looks like it's going out. Whatever's through the doorway, it looks like there's a fence.
A shadow in the back.
And then I'm seeing. Well, it looks like it almost looks like there's a figure in the foreground of this.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And then behind it looks almost like something that looks almost like a fence.
Well, behind
Looks
it
like a picket
is
fence.
the hose for the pool, and that little thing in the front is actually like the volleyball net.
So what are you showing me? The figure that I said in the foreground? That's
Right.
it? Okay.
It's something that was forming in the doorway when I took the picture,
Okay.
and he used to hide the bodies in there before he would take them outside to burn them.
Okay. So do we know? We don't know who this is, though.
No, we don't know
We
who
don't-
it
yeah,
is.
that's-
Well, he killed 17 or 18 young men.
Now, how come nobody hears too much about this case?
That's Herb Baumeister
Okay. Yeah.
at the Fox
Well,
Hollow.
the guy who was renting the place out.
This
that-
guy, he's
they sold
kind of,
it.
well, Gacy was about 32. I says, how come nobody hears too much about this? You know, we all know about the famous John Wayne Gacy.
This was back in the 70s.
Well, that's
was it?
about the time Gacy was
Gacy
doing
was
his thing, yeah.
Yeah.
That's about the same time, yeah.
I'm surprised.
And this one here, I got to admit, I'm not too familiar with this case, yeah.
Look it up, Fox Hollow Farm.
Maybe that's why, maybe because it wasn't in the city or something. It was more.
That was
Yeah.
Indiana.
Okay. This wasn't the axe murderer guy, was it? No.
No.
That's something else.
He
no.
picked up all these gay men. He was married, had kids, everything. He used to own Save-A-Lot stores that sold clothing.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Not the grocery store, but the clothing
Yeah,
store. And they were very rich and wealthy, and they bought this huge farm in Fox Hollow Farm in Carmel, Indiana.
Oh, this is the place where they have the tours that you come out there. Isn't this the
Right.
one where you do
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
It's not really
yeah,
a tour,
yeah.
You spend the night there. and
Yes,
you do the-
yes,
the
I know,
investigation.
yeah,
So we went there, and Julius
it's
got...
owned. Who owns this place now?
I don't know, because they sold hands again. So
Yeah.
Okay.
We were disappointed because we wanted to go back there.
There was
again.
somebody that I talked to once, and I'll be quite honest with you. I was wanting to bring a tour. Now that I know what this is, now I'm familiar with it. I wanted to bring a tour out there. And the gentleman, he may have had the right intentions, but I think he might have been a little misguided. Oh, we'll come out and I'll have a barbecue for you, and we do this, and we do all this and everything. And I thought, this guy's just getting a little weird with this, just a little strange.
No, the guy who
maybe
was
now
out there,
it's
he gave
somebody-
us a whole history of it, and his wife would just stay in the room all night. She wouldn't come.
I got kinda like-
all right. She was weird.
I got kind of like weird vibes from the guy, and then I decided not to pursue it.
Yeah,
Bring a
go
tour
with
out.
your gut.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
Something I'm learning. Well, I shouldn't say learning to do. Something I do now is
Right.
I trust my instincts. So if something tells me not to do
Right.
something or to do it, I kind of.
I mean, it was kind of weird. He was like watching us all night. You know, we would go outside, and all of a sudden he would show up. And it was
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
it
I
was, like,
just talking
weird.
to this. Just talk. If this is the same man we're talking about,
skinny
just
guy.
He was
I
a-
never met him. I
Oh.
never
He
met
was
him.
a
I talked with him.
pathologist.
Yeah, he
I
was a
talked with him,
pathologist, yeah.
but just something about him, I was just not comfortable with. Yeah.
I think being around that haunted house
Could
with,
be.
with all the
Mess with
stories,
him.
probably covered
Yeah.
and exploded
Fried
in his
his
brain or
brain.
something. But I'll tell you, when we were there, we would go outside, have a cigarette because there was no smoking in the house. Respected
Yeah.
the guy. He'd come out of nowhere. Did you see my dog? I'm like, no. It was like weird. It was like pitch black. He's like, did you see my
He
dog?
would just come up out of the ground from nowhere.
Yeah, but out of
huh?
nowhere.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
was like,
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Yeah, there was some. If indeed this is the same gentleman, like I said, I talked to him, and it just got bad vibes about it. Yeah, it didn't.
Yeah, he was a little weird.
Yeah.
I waited. Maggie and myself did not spend the night there. We drove home. We took the 3-hour drive home. I didn't want to spend the night in that house. So I'm not a big sleeper at any of these places, like the
Well,
Homer Hotel.
well, if you sleep, you can't get the photos. You can't get the EVPs and everything.
Well, you do it while you're awake.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what you said. You're not a big sleeper. You don't go there to sleep.
Yeah.
If you're going to sleep, stay home.
No, to spend the night at the places. I mean.
Oh, you don't like staying overnight?
Yeah,
Sleep
that's what
at
I'm
some
saying.
point.
Right.
Yeah, at one point you've got to, but then you have somebody else kind of keeping watch.
Nothing better like your own bed.
Yeah, that's true. Some people don't sleep anywhere but in their own bed.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people like to take their pillows with them, because that's like bringing a little part of your bed with you. If you're in some hotel or something, you at least have your pillow
Yeah.
with you and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So, yeah, everybody feels differently about that. Well, any final comments, Jules?
I'm good, man. It's just nice coming back on air and talking to you
you guys are
again.
welcome to come back anytime you want. You know that. You never need an invite. You just come on.
Well,
when
we'll
you-
be back shortly with this the class.
Yeah, come back on. Yeah, I know that. That's kind of in the works. Reverend Mihaela there, Bacon. She was. We can't say we talked. When I talk to somebody, usually it's on Facebook,
Great.
and we messaged a couple of times again. She was going to get back to me about this. She says, "Yeah, let me know when you wanna do it. You don't have the class come on." Laura, anything with you? Any
I just
closing
hope
comments?
everybody comes to our Snap It Expo.
Yeah, we
April 14th.
So keep that. You should give the address where this is.
5130 West 25th Street, Cicero.
If they want to get some more information about it, where would they find that?
That would be at snapit-ghost.com, probably under events.
Okay, snapitghost.com.
Hyphen
events.
ghost.
Hyphenghost.com events.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason, what do you got going? What kind of work do you do, by the way, besides being what's your real life, I should say, besides being a paranormal investigator?
So I'm a warehouse manager at Cintas in Woodridge.
Okay.
Actually, that has activity, but that's for another time.
Now, you're not one of these people that every building you go in has activity in it, are you?
No,
I've met
but
people like that. I could go to Burger King. Oh, there's activity in here.
No.
Oh, there's activity here.
No.
I mean, come on, everything can't be haunted,
No,
There are some
I
things
tell-
that aren't,
I tell Tony all the time that stuff happens there, randomly.
Okay.
Well, that's because the Burger King was built on the old Indian.
Yeah. Oh, yes, everything's an Indian burial ground.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't forget we have the seance this Saturday.
So you actually have the job like that, and this is something that you do. It's a hobby and an interest that you're pursuing, and that's great. And
Yes.
I think that's good. Yeah, that's good. And you're kind of hooked up with a nice bunch here too, so that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Good for you. Good.
Thank you.
Glad to hear it.
Thank you.
Nice to see new and interesting people coming into the field here and that, and with something to offer and something to share with everybody else. So.
And I
Good.
want to thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Likewise, Jason.
Just
Come
pay
back
at the
on.
door. Pay at the door.
Yeah, likewise, come back anytime you'd like. Yeah,
Okay.
you're welcome to come back on. I have never yet, in all the years I've been doing this show and other shows at WAG, I have never once had anybody that I said I don't want that person back on here again.
Oh, really?
I've had one person that said the show was a waste of time. The show was a waste of time, and
my
of course
God.
I didn't hear that directly. He didn't say it to my face, but I kind of like in a roundabout way I got that, and it was a waste of time, and I would never do it again. I said, well, I'm sorry that the person feels that way, but the invitation's open. Anytime if you change your mind, you're welcome to come back on. So.
Just come
We-
back to my waste of time station. If you
We-
want to come back.
We love coming here.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason, Laura, Jules, Tony. Any closing comments from you?
No, I think we covered it all. But again, I appreciate coming. on. Thank you for having
Haunted,
me on.
the tours, the haunted.
Hometowns or Chicago Hauntings?
The one you're with now, the
Well,
Chicago
Hauntings. Yes.
Chicago Hauntings, and you want to put in a plug for them and give Ursula
Yeah,
a little.
it's
not that she needs any of my publicity,
Yeah, not that
but
she needs. She's
yeah.
got enough
Yeah.
publicity. But yeah, ChicagoHauntings.com. You could sign up
There you
for
go. So any
tickets
tours or
there.
anything they got?
Starting April 1st, they'll be doing the walking tour again. Some downtown, and now we're going to do some around Lincoln Park also.
Okay. I thought you were doing Lincoln Park.
So we did the zoo at
zoo and the
Lincoln
cemetery
Park.
and
This
all
is
that.
actually going to be like a little around the zoo. We're going to start at the Couch Tomb by the Historical
Basically, what you're telling me is
Society.
they kicked you out of the zoo now. So
Well, no, we'll do those again in October. Probably October we'll be inside the zoo, and then we'll go around.
I kind of pick up on these things. When I say we're walking around it, that means
Yeah.
you're not allowed in there anymore.
The animals don't like us.
What were you doing to the animals, Tony?
It makes you wonder if those animals see any stuff going on. Because animals, as we all
Yes,
know,
yes.
have this extra sense that
They
and I
do.
hear. Yeah, I'm sure you guys hear the same things that I hear. People with dogs and pets and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Why is our dog staring at the
Yeah.
staircase or looking at that corner all the time? You got something going on over there. That's why.
Yeah.
So we all know that. So okay, and anything they want to do with that, you got tours coming up April 1st.
Right.
They want to get in contact with you. They find it on the website,
They could find it through ChicagoHauntings.com.
ChicagoHauntings.com. Snap it. Of course, they can find all about you if they come April 14th to the expo.
Correct.
I keep calling it a conference, but it's an expo.
An expo.
What would the difference between a conference and an expo?
I guess it's
Good
just
question.
different names.
Like somebody having a paranormal conference and a paranormal expo.
It's a little of both.
Expo implies to me like
Yeah.
it's a bigger, like it's an exposition. It's an extravaganza.
It is.
Yeah.
For us, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we got a professional radio show there.
Well,
Yeah, and-
talk to
Pending.
talk to the gentleman sitting in the room there with the glasses and the headset on.
He will
because
be well.
It all depends on him. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna put him on the prayer list at
I know
church.
people ask me, they want to do locations, they want to do this, and I
Yeah.
love doing the locations, but it all depends on him.
Mhm.
He's got to have, it's a lot of work for him to come with the van and set these
Right.
things up and all that. A couple times when I've done some talks at the libraries and that they've set up, and I get there at 6:30 to do the talk. He's there at 2:00 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
setting up. So they do, they do these
wow.
things way earlier. Yeah.
Okay.
They're fun to do, and it's nice. We get the word out about the station here and that.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and like I said, invitation's open. Anytime you guys want to come back on, just let me know, and you're welcome to come on here. If we got somebody else on here, you're always welcome to come on and sit with them, too. We got plenty of mics here, so welcome to come back anytime you'd like. Jason, it was nice meeting you. Did
You
a good
too.
job.
Thank
now
you.
you get to hear yourself.
Thank you.
You'll get to hear yourself on the radio, what you sound like.
I'm kind of scared.
Nah, don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound like
You might
professional.
actually have actually the
Thank
whole
you.
time you've been sitting there. I've been looking behind you, and there's been something standing right behind you the whole time. You've been don't listen
Stop
to me.
playing.
That did happen to me one time on a show, though. That
Oh,
did. I
really?
actually had something in the, and
Oh,
you can
wow.
see that up on YouTube too. Yeah,
Here.
but that did happen to me where I had something in the doorway one time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so these things do happen. Okay, we are going to quit. Thank you so much, folks, for allowing me to come into here once a month. John, thank you for letting me do these shows here once a month. They're an absolute joy to do. I really enjoy doing them. If I didn't, I wouldn't keep doing them. Thanks for allowing me to do that. And please don't forget to listen to everything else on the Windy City Network. Meet the Chicago Historians, Don of Sports, Paranormal Radio, that's us, the Chicago Junction, Armchair Experts, Wealth and Wisdom, and as well as all the other musical programs and everything that John puts up on the station here. John DeVita, thank you so much, sir. Mr. John Chikanda, our producer, thank you. Also, our sister affiliate, Jack FM 89.7 in Norwich. You can listen to this broadcast with them, 10:30 on Thursday. Probably John Chikanda, he's been doing them pretty fast now. He may actually have this up before we go to Jack FM. Sometimes he does it like the next day, so he may have it up like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then we'll be on Jack FM Live in the morning. So you can hear us in a variety of spots. Okay, that's going to be about it. Thank you all so much for listening, folks. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening.
You have been listening to Paranormal Radio with Bob Trzeciak from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network and Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich. Paranormal Radio was directed by John DeVita, and our special thanks to radio station manager Kevin Zefalik of WRHS FM Norwich and the executive producer of Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network, Mr. John Chikanda. This broadcast was pre-recorded on Monday, January the 29th, the year 2018. Until next time, friends, please be safe and thanks for listening.